so this is another update on my MonoGame engine editor. The last one I did, I think, was in about the start of November, so we're nearly at the end of December now. So that's what, a month and a half, 2 months work now on this. I think it's going good. It's getting there slowly but surely. Still loads of bugs, which I'm sure a lot of them are going to show up now when I'm recording this. So yes, I kind of just want to show you how much it's moved on since November's update, really, and it's changed quite a bit. So I'm just going to run the code and show you, I guess, go through what I've got working so far. Oh, ignore that. This is absolute nonsense. Don't know what I've still got that in there. I'll take that out. So as you can see, it's quite a bit different to how it was before. We've got a much better scene objects list now. Object viewer actually works. We can view the objects in the scene. So if I select them, yes, that's the camps because we're close up. Yes, you can see and pick all the elements in the scene. So this is effectively a completely clean new scene. So the editor's based off. So basically I've created a MonoGame project separate away from my engine and the editor, and I've given this test project engine project file, and based on that the editor will then use that as the root folder for all the elements that are going to be used in the editor. It can then save the scenes against that folder set. It pulls all the content pipeline, which obviously has to be pre-built from within the MonoGame Dev content pipeline tool. You can then access those and we can use them in the scene. So what we've got now, so as I say, you can select the various components in the system, in the scene. We've still got the translation rotation tools that we had before. They're still just as buggy as they were before. I've not done any more work on those. We've got a better output window. Covers pretty much anything that's going to the log file as well. I can clear all any verbose messages, warnings or error messages. The object view is also scrollable now, which is good. So when we're getting quite a bit of information in the object, we can see it all rather than it all getting crunched up. I don't know whether to make these sections collapsible. That might be useful as well, but at the moment they're not. Yeah, so we can now also add new objects into the scene. So basically this has gone off and found all drawable game objects that are within my engine. At the moment it hasn't gone off and looked for them within the game project as well, but that'll be a nice to have at some point. I'd like to put that in. Oh, you'll notice as well there's a bug, so I'm scrolling the scroll area with the mouse wheel, and because I'm not detecting which one I'm over when I'm doing the scroll, it scrolls bloody everything. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is just give you an example of creating a game object in the scene. I'm just going to call this panel. So when I edit, obviously it's added it in. It's all the way over there. Let's go and have a look. So we've got the panel in the scene now, but it's also using a default material. So the default material is very simple diffuse lit shader, but it's using my material object base to then create derived materials off that, so we can build more complicated effects basically that we can attribute to a drawable object. The engine also allows for multiple materials against objects, but the engine at the moment is only working with the first one in the list, but I'll open that up later on. My dog's just going mad at the minute, bless him. Yeah, so what we can do, we can manipulate the material now from within here. So obviously we've got a colour, we've got a light source and an offset intensity, which is to how bright the diffuse colour is going to be, and then there's bounce colour, which shouldn't be in there. Ignore that, that's a bug. But what I can do is, as I say, I can change with say my colour picker on a colour field, so I can change that to be whatever I like. If I hit OK, that's going to change it for that particular for that material. I can remove the light source as well. It's now using the default value of a light coming straight down. but if I want to use the light in the scene, I can now drag and drop that onto there and it'll pick it up and use it. I can change the offset. So if it's 0, obviously it's going to multiply the light by 0 in a very dark, almost black colour. We could make it really quite bright. But 1's probably best. I'm going to have to pause this now because my dog wanted to go out. Sorry, 2 ticks. Okay, so my dog's now out of the room. I bet you will come back in a minute and I'll have to sort that again. So yeah, so we can set that back to 1. Where's my mouse gone? Yeah, so then we could add, let's just put that back to, so with the colour picker, obviously I can pick a colour from anywhere within the colour picker, or I can set the colours directly. Oops. With my fat fingers going wild. Directly in the colour channels to be whatever I want, in this case white. But if we add now another drawable object, let's say cube, and call it cube. Oh yeah, watch, I dare say this will crash at some point and we'll have to pause and I'll have to go back because there's still tons of bugs. So next, so the cube, as you'll see, is using the same default material as the panel. So if I change any aspect of this material, it affects all objects that are using that material in the scene. So what I can do is, with the, I've got the cube selected, I can either pick another material that's already in the scene, in the system being used. Obviously there's a material for the skybox, I could pick that if I wanted to. And so now, as you can see, that's using the same material as the skybox. But what I actually want to do is create a new one. So again, this goes off into the engine and finds all material classes that I've got, and currently I've just got a default forward render material, which I'll show you in a minute. Basic effect material, which I think is just using the MonoGame XNA basic effect to do its stuff. Vertex color material, which is what the cube and the panel is currently using. Then there's a vertex lit, which is literally, there's no diffuse lighting on it at all, it's a vertex lit. Base material, shouldn't really be using that, so that's probably a bug I'll need to address later on. That's actually the base class for all my material classes. And so there'd be nothing in that. I won't pick that in case it blows up. So I'll pick a new colour material and I call this cube matte. So all names really need to be unique, because it makes life a bit easier for me when I'm searching for elements within the system. So call it cube matte. If I hit OK, it takes us back to our list of existing materials, because now we've got that in there, so we can pick it. I can click OK. So we've got a grey box because the offset, well, I think I've got my ambient on that set to like a dark grey. That's why it's a dark grey box. So we've got the basic lighting on it, which will be again top down, but the colours coming out as dark as possible because our offset's at 0. So if I set that multiplier to 1, we can now see that the top of the cube's lit, the rest isn't, because it's not using the light that's in the scene. I can drag that over now and drop it on, and so we've now got 2 materials in the scene, rendered differently against 2 different objects. So yes, that's pretty much that. And I can also obviously, the drawable objects can be visible or not, or they can be enabled or not. It doesn't really make any difference to whether it's enabled or not at the moment, but it will when we start attaching scripting behaviours to the objects. You'll be able to obviously disable the scripting behaviour in the editor, which might be a useful thing, or I might have that just behaviours not activated by default when in the editor. That's probably the best thing to do. Oh yeah, so let's also show you, let's go and create another, let's go for a new drawable object. Let's add, it doesn't matter what it is, let's go for a sphere. the sake of argument. Ball. Oh, you'll also notice, look, so that's an error as well, where we've got list items highlighting up through that box. That shouldn't be happening. As there's still loads and loads of little niggly bugs that I've got that I've not got around to addressing, but it's getting there slowly. So yeah, we'll create a ball, which we should now be able to. If I move, oh, that's the box, isn't it? Still silly me. Let's get that to 0.5 again. So let's grab the ball. I'm going to move that up to 2. Oh yeah, because our default material 2.5. Default, not 255.5. Oh, fat fingered one. Yeah, so that's still using the default material. I'll leave it as it is for now. But what I want to do as well is I'm going to make so the ball is going to have, sorry, the cube is going to have the ball as its parent object. Now this is going to move, so again this is another bug, because it's now, as you can see, it's now a child of the ball. It's offset based on the ball, so what I should really do is store the world position and then reset it once it's been set. So that's going to be, so that's position in the world, so I really want that to be back to 0.5 for now. So just to demonstrate that we've got parent-child linkage, so when I move the ball now, as you can see there's still issues on my tools. So I'll move, so if I rotate it as well, if I rotate the ball, the cube also rotates with it. So just showing that the parent-child transform linkage. I can also break that link, bring that back to 0.5, and we're all good again, even its rotation's back to as it was. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause, actually no, I'm going to try it, it's going to break though, so I'm now going to load a scene. So what this is going to do, it's gone off based on the root folder for the test project, it's gone off and looked in its scene folder for the 2 scenes that it's got. Actually if I cancel that, and I'm going to do a save on this scene, so if I save, I'm just going to say save the scene, I hope. So if I now go and do the load scene, there should be 3, yay. So new scene's the one we've just saved, initial scene's the one I've been showing in, if you've seen any of the Facebook MonoGame group posts I've put, or any of my Twitter posts, it's basically that scene that I've been using. So yes, I want to load the initial scene now. It's going to crash in it. You sure? Yeah. Okay, so loaded. I still think it's going to something horribly wrong in a minute. I know it looks alright. Getting a bit laggy and jittery though. What I might do actually, I'm just going to pause this recording and then clear this down and reload. It's getting a bit laggy. It's quite odd, that lag, because I don't get it when I'm not recording, so I'm hoping it's down to the recording rather than my terrible code. So now we've got this scene loaded up, which is the one shown in any of my posts and update posts. So we've got quite a few objects in this scene. So the planet Earth, the teapot and the skull, they're actually imported from the game's content pipeline rather than like engine derived objects. So the capsule, the cube, the cylinder, the pyramid, the sphere and the triangle are all basically primitives that can be created with the engine. So the engine has got these primitive objects. They've got a list of vertices, indices, normals and tangents, and it can just generate those meshes. without having to have it in the content pipeline. And I think if you look at, if you look at because these are all using the same material, same shader effectively, the diffuse forward material, you can see that there's quite a hard line on that sphere there, so I think my tangent calculation's wrong, whereas on the imported mesh the tangent of the normals and that are much smoother. So I think I've got a bad calc in there somewhere, just one of the many bugs that I've got to sort out. Okay, so yeah, as I say, so these are using the deferred, it's not deferred, sorry, it's still a forward render. Everything's still forward. I'll introduce deferred later on once I get all the meaty stuff sorted. But yeah, so effectively these are using the default forward render material, which has got so there's color map, glow map, reflection map, and so on. Skull is using the skull material that I think it's derived from just the default material that's used, so that vertex color, not color texture, just color. And the same with the T-part as well, but they've got their own versions just so I can then colour the skull without affecting the T-part. As you can see, we've not got, if I scroll down again, that's not, so if we scroll down there, we've got no reflection map on there, so again I can pick textures. He says, does it crash? No. So all these textures are in the content pipeline of the game project, not the engine. Just maximize that. And so that's where it's pulling them from. So I'm going to set it to that and click OK. So now we get a nice shine on the reflection map. So reflection map's probably a bad word. It's a specular. I suppose it's not really a reflection map, it's a specular map. But yeah, so now we get that nice shiny effect, and because it's a nice map, not everything's shiny on the globe, just the C bits. Oh yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to show. So with the camera, we can switch to orthographic projection. So as you can see, the camera's frustrum, I can never say that word, is now, so it's orthographic, so we've got a nice solid box for, because obviously everything's rendered very differently in that kind of projection. So I can still move around the scene with my camera. It's all now flat orthographic, which is cool. If I move towards the scene, as you can see, it's all things are getting culled. I can also switch to wireframe on. At the moment, the background, because it's all grey, and we've got the clear colour as blue actually, but that's because my editor scene camera didn't pull the clear colour from the copy, so that's again another bug. But if I change that now, if I OK that, it'll pick it up. So I can change that to be whatever I like, and so we can see the different clear colours. Let's go back, so let's go black. Very dark anyway. Take wireframe off. Take orthographic off. Back to normal. Yes, there's loads of different things in there. Loads of elements. Loads of stuff that we can do. So, yeah, let's get in there. So I've still got loads and loads of bugs to iron out. I'd like to get onto, at the moment we've only got directional light. I want to get my cone lights, point lights, and not necessarily volumetric, but a volume light in there as well. Post-processing is already in there, but I've not done anything with that yet. That's got to be added into the editor as well and expanded. It's got some very just basic elements in there. Physics obviously, which is going to be interesting. I don't know whether to go. I have written a physics engine before, but they're a pain in the bum so it might be worth. My old engine, my old XA engine, I used Bullet X, I think it's called. A good friend of mine ported it to XNA, which my old engine used, so I might see if I can use that. Yeah, but still loads and loads to do. But at least you can see it's progressing and getting there. Oh, I'll just show you the folder actually. So this is my test project folder. So I just created a regular MonoGame project, and then the editor creates a scene folder which you can then store the scenes in. Now that scene folder will probably need to be moved into the bin folder when it comes to actually building your game project and deploying it. Again, that's something I'll do towards the end. Maybe the build button in the engine, in the editor, I'll be able to do that, build it, get it ready for you to then run it in your project, in your game project. So yeah, so the scenes are basically here as well in the scene folder. So these are the 3 that it picked up. So we'll have a look at initial scenes. You can see there's lots and lots of elements in there, from the base model objects to cameras, capsules, cylinders, all the various elements in there, and they're all pretty much. If I pick one, it's just allow me on edge. Let's just go a little bit smaller. Take up the screen. Yeah, so they're all. I'm using data contracts purely because I use them at work and I find them easy and nice to use. I've got it set up so that when it does serialize, there's a app config, so you can introduce more object types that the data contract serializer will be able to pick up and use. So yeah, so what's this? This is base model object. So that's the teapot object. So yeah, there's not a massive amount of information in there really. So the cylinder, pretty much the same because it's a base model object. But it's got so it's using the same base class effectively as the meshes. Base camera, here comes my dog again. Yeah, so the camera's probably a bit more complicated. There's a few more elements in there. Yeah, there's the post-processing manager for the camera. As I say, that's in there. I just need to hook it up in the editor. But yeah, still loads of bugs. A few bugs still knocking around. A few bugs still knocking around loading and saving scenes. It's more to do with reloading scenes because obviously I need to put editor objects in the scene. So like the so it's for the camera icons, lighting icons, frustum renderers. They need to come out obviously when the scene's saved but put back in when it's reloaded. So there's loads of little glitchy bits and bobs in there, but just need niggling and sorting out. And yes, it's getting there. It's getting there. I'm quite happy with it. Anyway, I hope you haven't been too bored with the with the update, and hopefully I'll be able to do a binary and you can maybe give it a go. But it's a lot, as you can see, it's a long way off being able to do that at the moment. But hopefully this time next year you might be able to give it a test. Anyway, as I say, I hope I haven't bored you too much, and Happy New Year.